This week's Parsha, Parshas Lech Lecha, by the Bris Bein Absarim, the Rabbi Shalom told Avram Avinu, Al Tira Avram, you have nothing what to be afraid of. Anoichi Magen lach, I'm going to protect you. This week's Parsha. That's the Makoir in Shmoin Esrei. We end off Baruch Atah Hashem Magen Avram. We're being mispalul, just like the Eibishter promised Avram Avinu and actually protected Avram Avinu from, as we'll soon see, protected Avram Avinu. As Meilu mispalul us as well, Baruch Atah Hashem Magen Avram, but Schus Avram Avinu, we should also be protected. Therefore, Friday night, and that's the focus of this morning's Shiur, Friday night, the Birchas Me'ein Sheva. We're going to go into it, Beis Hashem, and clarify what it is all about. But the Birchas Me'en Sheva, what we say after Shmoin Esrei, first Vayechulu, and then these Baruch Atah Hashem, Toma Kaddish HaShabbos, that Birchas Me'en Sheva, Magen Avos B'dvarei. Magen Avos. The Birchas Me'en Sheva is a kitzer of the Shmoin Esrei. So the beginning, Magen Avos B'dvarei, is referring to the first bracha, Magen Avram. That bracha of Magen Avram, as we explained, Magen Avram, the Eibishter said, Anoichi Magen lach. So we say Magen Avos, the Eibishter said, we're misparallel, it's Magen Avos that the Eibishter protected all of the Avos. Shkoyach, thank you. Where did the Eibishter... Now I can look around. Thank you. Where did the Eibishter protect the Avos? We say every Friday night, tonight, Magen Avos. Where did the Eibishter protect the Avos? So Rabbeinu Menoach from the Rishonim, a Pirush on the Rambam, goes through and he says the Eibishter protected Avram Avinu in this week's parasha by the Milchama with the Malachim. Yitzchak Avinu, the Eibishter protected by Avimelech, and Yaakov Avinu by Esav, Lavan, and Shechem. So that's what I'm going to say tonight. Magen Avos B'dvarei, the Eibishter protected the Avos. That's what the Eibishter protected the Avos. The shaila is, however, why do we say a regular Shmoin Esrei, we say Magen Avram? So Rashi brings by us in the beginning of the parsha, it's a Gemara in Pesachim. The pasuk says, the beginning of the parsha, Ve'eschol l'goy gadol zeh sh'omer l'kei Avram v'avarechecha zeh sh'omer l'kei Yitzchak v'gadol shemecha zeh l'kei Yaakov. Zok the Gemara Yachol, that we should say Magen Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov. Yachol Yuchais Mekulam, we end with everybody. Zok the Gemara Talmud Loimer ve'yei bracha, that v'yei bracha b'chachaisim v'loi bahem. In other words, Magen Avram, Lamaisa, we picked off Avram Avinu. So why every Friday night do we say Magen Avos B'dvarei? L'chai we should say Magen Avram B'dvarei. We understand what Magen Avos B'dvarei is, that the Eibishter Taka protected Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, as we explained. That's clearly the Pirush Amilas. But l'chayra, as the Gemara says, Rashi brings the beginning of the parasha, Yachol b'kulam chaismim tamad leim with Avram. So why are we here not? So l'chayra, I didn't see anybody ask this question. I'm sure they speak about it. L'chayra teretz is pretty poshut. If it's a chasima, Yachol b'kulam chaismim, teretz is Magen Avram. In the davening after Shmoin Esrei, Magen Avos B'dvarei is not a chasima. It's a kitzer of all the brachas. It's one bracha me'ein sheva. So if it's not a chasima, you don't have the chachaismim. It's like the beginning of the bracha, like Avram, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. So b'meil over here also it's Magen Avos, all the Avos. How is it a bracha me'ein sheva? So we'll just go through. Could be it's pasha to some, to all, but it's just kedai to know. We say it every single Friday night. The El Yerab actually, spells it out, just to go through The beginning of the bracha, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu v'Elokei Aviseinu, that's the first bracha, more ba'arichas, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov. Then Magen Avos, which we all say, not just about Tefillah, Magen Avos till Zeich L'Maaseh Bereishis is broken up to the 7 brachas. Magen Avos b'dvaroi is the bracha Rishona. Mechaye Mesim b'ma'amoroi, Mechaye Mesim, that's the 2nd bracha. Hakela Kadosh she'ein kamoyu is the 3rd bracha. Hakela Kadosh, Shabbos Shuvah, or Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, we say HaMelech HaKadosh. Then goes the 3rd bracha of Shabbos, a bit longer. Hamaniach la'amoi b'yoyim Shabbos kodshe kivom rotzol aniach lahem. That's Shabbos. And then afterwards goes the last 3 brachas. Lefonov navid b'yirav afachad, that's moedim. V'noit Ritzei, good shkoich, very good, yeah, avoida, yeah. Lefonov navid b'yirav afachad, that's Ritzei, that's avoida. V'noida l'shmoi b'chol yom tamid be'ein ha'brachas, v'noida l'shmoi, that's hoidah, that's moedim. Also, Kela Haidois Adoin HaShalom, Kela Haidois, which hopefully we'll get to it. It's interesting, it's a little bit longer, the Haidah Chelek. So again, the fun of Navi B'Yer B'Facha, that's the Avoida, that's Ritzei. V'noida l'shmoi b'chol yatamad Haidah, me'ina brachas Kela Haidois. That's all Hatoiv Shem Chalachana L'Haidois. And then, Adoin HaShalom, that's Sim Shalom. So that's the 7 brachas. Friday night when we have the Birchas Mein Sheva, that is the Birchas Mein Sheva.
Why do we go back to Shabbos?
Oh, very good. Gavaldik, Rabbeinu Menoach asked this question. And Rabbeinu Menoach, good question. So so we should stop. It should be Adoin HaShalom, and we should end here. We go back to Shabbos, Elokeinu v'Elokei Aviseinu, say V'nuchaseinu, Baruch atah Hashem HaKadosh HaShabbos. L'chayra, it should be Kela Haidois, Baruch atah Hashem, Adoin HaShalom. Or Mavarach Hasam Yisrael Bashal, we should end over there. Very good question, Gavaldik. So Rabbeinu Menoach explains, he says the following. He says, first of all, since the Iker HaBracha is L'chvoid Shabbos, meaning to say, it is Friday night, it is Shabbos. Avada, we incorporate all 7 brachas. But the Iker bracha is the bracha of Shabbos, so Mela, that's why we go back to Shabbos. Like that should be the Chasima, that's the Iker. Another teretz, he says, the reason why after saying a kitzer of the 7 brachas we go back to Shabbos, he says that why do we say this bracha, as we'll get to in a minute, more ba'ariches, to extend the time after davening for the people that come late. So we want to expand more. So Mamela, even though we finished the main Sheva, this is just 5, 6, 7 lines. We add in a few more lines. But you could still ask me, so add in the few more lines, if it's Shabbos or put it in the middle, why is it at the end? The first teretz why it's at the end is because that's the Ikar HaBracha. But say this, so we did all 7, then we go back to Shabbos because that's the Ikar HaBracha, I understand. But if you tell me because you want to expand more on it, say this. So then, when we say over here, Hamaniach Laviyam Shabbos Kachay, over there you should have 5, 6 lines about Shabbos. Stick it in all over there, and still end Baruch Atah Hashem Adoin HaShalom Mavarach Hasam Yisrael B'Shalom. L'chayr, the pshat is that if it's a bracha me'ein sheva, you can't have a whole bracha in the middle. If it's me'ein sheva, then everything is me'ein sheva, from the beginning till the end. So Magen Avos with Varei, 3 words. Everything is very short. After we finish the whole bracha me'ein sheva, but it's still not long enough, we go back to Shabbos with an arichas. So be'etzem, the bracha is a bracha me'ein sheva, very bekitzadig bracha. Each 2, 3, 4 words refer to a bracha of the 7 brachas we say by Shemay Nesrei, and then we go back to make it longer. Why do we say Magen Avos, the bracha me'ein sheva, Friday night? Why? So the Gemara in Shabbos Daf Chav Daled Amud Beis, the Gemara says the reason is mishum sakana. That's why we say it. The takana to say the whole bracha after Vayichulu, First you say Vayichulu Hashemayim V'aretz, and that we spoke about is really, why do you say Vayichulu? It's not the discussion B'chalal, but just if we're talking about what happens after Shemoneh Esrei, the reason you say Vayichulu, Zok Toisvis, is only because of Yom Tif. Shabbos, Yom Tif Shechaliyos B'Shabbos, that you don't say Vayichulu B'chalal and Shemoneh Esrei, so mainly you say it after Shemoneh Esrei. Once you say it already on a Yom Tov Shechaliyos B'Shabbos, you say it already the whole year as well also. So Zicher on a Yom Tov Shechaliyos B'Shabbos, Shvi Shal Pesach, Habal Leinu L'Toiv is going to be Shabbos. These different ways you say Kabbalah Shabbos, a shorter Kabbalah Shabbos, but Vayichulu you for sure say, because the whole Vayichulu is because of Yom Tov. Al Kaponim, back to Baruch Atah Hashem, the Bracha Mein Shava, the reason why l'chor you could say Vayichulu, and after Vayichulu Lassos you say Kaddish. Zok the Gemara Shem Sakana. What's the Sakana? So Rashi explains that the Bate Knesias in the olden days were outside of the town, outside of the village, and therefore what? There were people that came late. Seems like there was always such a concept that people came late. People came late.
Different type of people. They stayed late also.
Oh, I hear very good. They stayed late. They stayed late. And B'pnei Sakana, for those people that came late, at least they made it up when they afterwards. Very good. Yeah, if you come late, at least they stayed late. Those people staying late in a shul outside of the town is a Sakana. So Mamela, it seems like maybe there could have sometimes even been a Yachid or very few people. What was it? What's the Sakana? So the Rishonim explain one of two, either Shadim. So I don't know if to avoid the Sakana of Shadim, only one, if you have two people, everyone has to stay, but Al Kapan, that's one understanding is Shadim. And another understanding of Shadim is Listim. Dangerous people along the way. So Mamela, the Takana was to put in a filler while they finish up Shemoneh Esrei. So we spend a little bit more time. Finish Shemoneh Esrei, you say Aleinu, and you're out the door. So we made it a little longer after Shemoneh Esrei. So like this, when we finished davening, they also finished, and everybody leaves home together. No one stays behind in the shul, either B'pnei Shadim, or no one stays behind and has to walk up themselves.
So it's like during the week. Same similar thing with Baruch Hashem Oilam. So if someone comes late, should I have to skip it?
Yes.
Repeat the Bracha, Magen, no.
The Yachid doesn't say.
No,
only it's still adding time.
We'll see if there's time. If not, maybe there'll be a part two. There's a lot of halachas and hilchas Magen Avos. What Yachid? What happens if there's not a Beis HaKnesses Kavua? There's what to talk about. Beis Chasanim. I'm not sure if there's going to be time today. If not, maybe there'll be a part two to it. A lot of halachas to go through. B'pnei Sakana. L'maisa, even though now Zagan the Rishonim that we don't have any of that. First of all, the Beis HaKnesses is in the town. Second of all, there's no Shadim. Third of all, Baruch Hashem, this is also not applicable. Either it's in the town or it's not Negei L'maisa to Pnei Listim. So Mamela, so then l'chor we shouldn't say it. Still, afal pikein we say it. B'choil, what's b'choil? Why don't we say Magen Avos, whatever, a short Shemoneh Esrei afterwards? The teretz is, Zagan the Rishonim, Rashi already says that during the week, the people, let's call it the latecomers at least, didn't make it to Shul b'chlal. Friday night, they made it to Shul, but they came late. During the week, they were busy in the field till it got dark and finished. They didn't make it to Shul b'chlal. So maybe it wasn't a gate. There were no latecomers, so maybe you didn't have to make that hakana. What's about Yom Tif? Yom Tif, the Gemara says you don't say Magen Avos on Yom Tif. That's klar, that's the halacha. Yeah, we're coming off a bunch of days of Yom Tif. It went into Shabbos, but Yom Tif, you just say Kaddish. You say Kaddish, you sing Kaddish, but there's no Magen Avos. Ad kedei kach, the Gemara says that a Yom Tif shechaliyos b'Shabbos, that's a Shvi Shal Pesach that's going to come, and we say Magen Avos, we make no mention of Yom Tif. Why do we make any mention of Yom Tif? because mi goram to say Magen Avos only Shabbos, not Yom Tov. So you don't say anything about Yom Tov. Just an example for that is, let's say this past Shabbos was Chodesh. So when we said the Birchas Haftarah, we only mentioned Shabbos, we didn't mention Rosh Chodesh. Why don't we mention Rosh Chodesh? In Shmoneh Esrei you mention both. The teretz is because Rosh Chodesh is no Haftarah. Mi goram for Haftarah to be is only Shabbos, not Rosh Chodesh. Yom Tov, however, Yom Tov Shechalias b'Shabbos and the Birchas Haftarah, you mention both, because Shabbos is Machayev Haftarah and Yom Tov is Machayev Haftarah. Anyways, back to Magen Avos, the Gemara says that you do not say Magen Avos on Yom Tov, and even Yom Tov Shechalias b'Shabbos, you say Magen Avos al Shabbos, but not al Yom Tov. Why not? Why don't you say why not? The reason why you say Magen Avos on Shabbos is because people that come late and leave late with Bnei Sakana, Zokt Rabbeinu Menoyach, on Yom Tov they didn't go to Shul. Why didn't they go to Shul? Because Yom Tov, till Erev Yom Tov, they were busy preparing for Yom Tov. And what's Yom Tov? Once Yom Tov came, you can't do malachas anymore, but you can cook. So came Yom Tov, they started cooking they started preparing for the Suda. So they didn't go to Shul. So if they didn't go to Shul, Memela wasn't a geya that they came and they came late. They didn't go. I don't know if nobody went or the people that were running late didn't go. But often Friday night they went, but they went late. And Memela, those latecomers stayed late. The late people didn't make it, not B'choil they didn't make it, and they didn't make it not on Yom Tov also. So Memela wasn't a geya, the takana. The Sfasema says it a little bit different. The Sfasema says that Shabbos, being that is a din of Tais for Shabbos, most people came on time to Shul Shabbos. Why? Because he's a din of Tais for Shabbos. So once you makabel Shabbos early, a few minutes early, you makabel Shabbos and you walk to Shul out of the town. Yom Tov, as he says, he's no din Tais for Yom Tov. It's a shaila, it's a shmuz for itself. Technically, there is a din of Taisus Yom Tov, but Yom Tov, that is no din Taisefes. So the way how he says it really is that nobody brought on Yom Tov early. So basically, even if they announced whatever time the minyan will be in Shul, the Olam came late. So if the Olam came late, they started late. It's not like that they started on time and then a few people came late. That's what the Sasema says, Al Hashas, on the Gemara over there. Why is there no bracha? Interesting shaila. Why is there no bracha Yom Kippur afterwards? First of all, the simple teretz is because there's a lot of slichas that we say afterwards.
That was part of the original.
I don't know. Interesting, Taka.
They come late on Yom Kippur.
Oh, these Tosfos Yom Kippur also. Zicher. Tosfos Yom Kippur is the Raisa, but
That's what I'm saying. So if they come, I mean they come and they
come, but they come late. B'doimit to Shabbos. Yeah, it's a good shaila. I don't know. I don't know when they started the slichas afterwards, but it's taka interesting. This year, Shechalias b'Shabbos Avada we say. No, I'm saying we said it. Interesting.
Yom Kippur should
What'd say?
Yom Kippur we should, or Yom Kippur Shabbos we shouldn't.
On Erev Shabbos, you're working in the field until the last minute, but on Erev Yom Kippur, there's so many things you have to do.
So you don't come late. You're saying people don't come late to Erev Yom Kippur. It's an interesting shaila, Taka. What up to Erev Yom Kippur?
It seems like it's more came to
What'd say? Earlier.
So people don't come there.
Those people are working in the field like they were on Erev Shabbos, Erev Yom Kippur.
Didn't do them off, I guess. That's what I'm saying. It's so on Erev Shabbos that you're in the day already before.
So even after the Suda Mafsakas, B'doimit Shabbos, there's people that come late. Once it's the time, what are they supposed to do? So technically, every Yom Kippur also.
The first day of Pesach could be Shabbos. Because it's a malach after Katzayit, or.
So it's quite interesting. If the first day Pesach Shabbos is taka discussion. I don't remember if it's a mafurish or Shulchan Aruch, but there's a discussion maybe not to say it because it's Pnei Mazikim, like we just said, and it's Leil Shemurim. It's a minig not to malacha. Another teretz brought to the Machzer Vitri from the Rishonim, a Talmud of.
Ein Kasche. Wenn man dreht über eine ganze Stut, eine ganze Welt, für ein Schlepper, What is the
I
explanation?
see the chashivas of one
So,
year.
no, but yeah, so do it the whole year, do it the whole day. You could do it 24 hours a day.
I think if you run your whole life around the guys who don't show too, then you're never going to get anywhere in
Be
life.
busy with it 24, be busy with them 24 hours a day.
So you're asking, what are we going to help out other people that come late? So the emes is, you have a good point. Ich weiß takanish, it's a good point. Why you should always make takanas. Lamaisa is like this. I mean, Shema Yavirenu for a guy that's not. Okay, maybe that's the person could be on his game. Lamaisa is like this. We'll get to it right away. What's Bechlal Magen Avos? Could be it'll answer the shayla, but it's a good question. You're asking. It's Ein L'Dav Soif. You start making takanas. Ein L'Dav Soif. Ein L'Dav Soif. This is at least within reason. But let's be mamshech and we'll see the Inyan. What's the gather of Me'ain Sheva? Maybe it'll make it a little better. What'd you say? Very good. Very good. This is what we're going to get to. Good. That's the Shaila. It's a Machlokes Rishonim. And then we'll see Taka. Could be. Let's get to it in a minute. One more pshat and then we'll get to this. One more explanation from the, I should have said it Taka before the Svasem, the Machsa Vitri from the Rishonim, a Talmud of Rashi says, why Taka don't you say Magen Avos on Yom Tif? Because you can light a fire. So that's the fire, if it's light, so then it's the listim, I guess, jump out when it's dark. And mazikim, if it's lit up, it's lit. You walk home with an avuka. And he says the same thing as b'choil. You can walk home with a torch by night, every night. Yom Tif, Taka Yom Kippur, you cannot. So l'chayr, it's still the shayla, l'chayr Yom Kippur, you should say. Let's try to focus over here. Why Taka, not why we said B'nei Sakana. When they made the Takana, what's the gather of the Takana that you say the Bracha Me'ain Sheva? These two ways to understand it, it's Machlokes Rishonim. The Lashon Rashi says, right there on the Gemara, Rashi says, he explains B'nei Sakana, and therefore what? L'chein ha'erichu, that's the Lashon of Rashi. They were Mayrich. It's ki'ilu if you want to call it, they put in, like if you would say Tehillim after davening, Pizmoinis, Yoitzris, Herichu, they were Mayrich bedavening for the latecomers. Mishum Sakana, Mazikim. V'chashashu, that they're not going to be done. Lekach, Herichu Tvilas Hatzibur. Herichu, they were Mayrich. Meaning to say is, it's a filler, if you want to call it. It's a filler. Mi'idoch, the Rambam, the Lashon HaRambam, when the Rambam explains the whole gather of the Bracha Me'ain Sheva, the Rambam says, Chayzer Shliach Tzibur. It's like a Chazar Sashatz, like you mentioned. Chayzer Shliach Tzibur. He repeats the Shema Nesrei. When he repeats it in a way of Chazar Sashatz, in a Bekitzer, but it's a Chazar Sashatz. The Ben Ish Chai, before the Ben Ish Chai, the Noya Katzoin Yosef, lived in the times of the Maril. He was the Gaba in the Shul in Frankfurt, and he recorded all the minhagim of davening of the Shul. And he says that the Magen Avos that we say every Friday night is B'mokim Chazar Sashatz. B'mokim Chazar Sashatz. The Ben Ish Chai also says like that, and he says, besides that we say Magen Avos Mipnei Hasakana, there's also a reason al Pisoi to have a Chazar Sashatz. Machlokes Rishonim. Now I just want to get back to your Shaila, what you asked every time. So first of all, it could be we can't always just start waiting for people. If you understand that it's a Chazar Sashatz, then you can understand. Shachar Semencha is a Chazar Sashatz. We're not making a new thing. I think it's a little easier to understand. They made over here a Chazar Sashatz by Ma'irav also. The way our Rashi learns Harichu, that I hear you asking. So then we should always for the latecomers. If you call a shiur for 9 o'clock, so people always come late. So what you do, you should start at 9:50, like everyone's there on time. You start it on time, and the people that are on time, you start on time. So technically, it's always a shiloh over here. We do a legal holiday shiur. It's called for 10 a.m. So we can wait till 10:15, and there'll be more people that were coming late. Or you call for a time, it's a time. But could be if it's a Chazar Sashatz, so they didn't stam a filler. But that's a Machlokes Rishonim. What's the gather in Magen Avos that we say every Friday night? We'll try to say a few nafkeminis ladina. One thing I think it's clear, at least for myself for sure, that tonight Magen Avos is going to be a different Magen Avos. You know, the Hezbollah, the reason why we say it, what it is. So we have over here Machlokes Rishonim if the Magen Avos is a Chazar Sashatz, or let's call it like Rashi says, Herichu, a filler. The first Nafka Mina Ladina is, which is it's a Machlokes. Could you be Yoitze Shmoyne Esrei Friday night with the Birchas Man Sheva? Shachris and Mincha, you could be Yoitze with the Shliach Tzibur. That's the Chazar Sashatz. For those that don't know, you could be Yoitze. Could you be Yoitze with the Magen Avos Friday night? Of course, Magen Avos means from Baruch Atah Hashem till Makadosh HaShabbos. Not just what we say, but could you be Yoitze from the Shliach Tzibur? You listen to him, could you be Yoitze? So the Shulchan Aruch says you're Yoitze. However, the Chavetz Chaim brings, being that it's a big machlokes, you should not rely on being Yoitze from the Shliach Tzibur. But al kapanim it's a machlokes. It's nitin leyamer. The B'tzeil HaChachma has a tshuva, and he goes through, he brings us machlokes, and he wants to say these are the tliyas ladina. It could be, if you hold it's a chazar sashatz, then you could be yoitza. It's maybe a short chazar sashatz, but it's a chazar sashatz. However, if you learn that it's just a filler, what type of filler did they put in? They made a bracha, a kitzer of Shmoyne Esrei, so then you can't be yoitza.
How's it bow?
Oh, very good. That's another nafkamina. We could be Meirich more in this nafkamina, but I want to try to finish the nafkaminas, and maybe Beis Hashem there'll be another shiur by going through quite a couple of dinim in Magen Avos. Another nafkamina would be B'chlal. Could a yachid say the whole Magen Avos, not just the Magen Avos itself? Could you say the whole thing? Baruch Atah Hashem. Yachid can mean be yechidus, but that will get to maybe only supposed to minyan kavua. But even if you're in a minyan kavua, could you say yourself the whole thing? So that also is a shaila. There's a machlokes. There's a machlokes if you could. If it's a chazar sashatz, it's poshut that you can't. You can't yourself say chazar sashatz. Chazar sashatz is for the shliach tzibur. However, if it's to be mayrich, it's a filler. It's nitin lehiyomer. It's nitin liyamer that you could, because lamaisa, some say no, it's dafke huskan for the shliach tzibur, but it's nitin liyamer that you could also say it.
You're going to end even later than that point.
No. We're not talking about the late comers. We're talking about, let's say nobody came late, or let's say you didn't come late and the shliach tzibur is saying it. You also want to say it. Could you say the whole bracha? Ba'as and shul. Yeah, menet mit the bracha. Without the bracha, minig ashkenaz kamat everybody says, kamat everybody. Lots say that you could say. The Shulchan Aruch Halein says, the Ramah says, if you want to say it, just say Magen Avos. But could you say the bracha if it's a chazar sashatz? Like how the Rambam says, you can't, because you can't say chazar sashatz. If it's just a filler, then it's nitin le'omer, it's shaykh to say. You could say it. You could still say no, that this filler was only huskan for the shliach tzibur, not for anybody else. Another nafkamina is lagabe bowing. Very good. When you start the bracha, Baruch Atah Hashem, the beginning of it, it's only negayah for about tefillah. Do you bow? Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu Elokei Avosseinu, Shmoyne Esrei, you bow. Do you bow over here? Here also would be, it's a machlokes. When I said it's a machlokes, I think it's safe to say the minig ha'olam is a natu. So you can be ma'ayim more on the shliach tzibur, at least when I daven, I hope. I think the minig ha'olam is natu, I think. These are machlokes. Some, the Mari Turner from the Rishonim, there's a lot of menhagim recorded by the Mari Turner. He says yetu. These are shaila, these are from our makaimis about it. The Chavas Yar in Makar Chaim says yetu. It's a machlokes. If it's a chazar sashatz, so then you could, it's nitin liyamer, chazar sashatz, you do. However, if it's not a chazar sashatz, it's just a filler, avada, what did they fill it with Shmoyne Esrei, but it's not a Shmoyne Esrei, it's not a chazar sashatz, maybe you don't. These are interesting discussion in Zichron Yehosef that says that even if it is a chazar sashatz, you're still not going to bow. Because Lamaisa, it comes in sets. The beginning, it's you bow twice, not only once. In Magen, the beginning and the end of the bracha. So if you don't have the beginning and the end, you don't. So, but Al Kapanim, in this Shaila, if it's a Chazar Sashatz, these a Tzad, that would be the explanation in the Rishonim and the Hezber that you do bow because it's Chazar Sashatz. If it's not a Chazar Sashatz, so then it's words that we took from Shemona Esrei, you wouldn't.
Is there any problem with bowing down by Bracha? Yeah. Let's say it's not. Let's say you shouldn't bow. You bow. It's bow.
Okay, so that's Tam. So you could ask, could you be? I don't remember offhand if you could or you can't. So that's Tam halacha. Could you anyway? If you want to do it, you could. If you're allowed, you could do it anywhere. But here we're asking is the halacha to do it.
I want to bow with Barcelona. Am I allowed to?
No, it's only tomorrow.
But because you're being moisif on what the takan is. 50 b'ma'ayin. I don't know. 50 b'ma'ayin.
The end of every bracha?
You can't. What are you saying? You cannot.
At the end of the book. I'm not sure.
Good. So that would be, you want to know if, because he's a machlokes, so what's a l'rafcha, so do it. Another nafkamina. We said it's nafkamina if a yachid could. If a yachid could say it. And one last nafkamina is, could the chazan answer amen during the bracha of Magen Avos? These are tshuvas raf pa'olim that declares about it. Could the chazan say amen in the middle? I don't know the hechatim, so where's he saying amen and what? Where's the bracha b'chla? But let's say, in a different, a yachid is he saying it, or he's holding still before Shemona Esrei, he's saying Shemona Esrei loud. Yeah, could yeah, but klosh, in Shailas tshuvas raf pa'olim, the Ben Ish Chai declares this shaila, and he explains his suffix is, if it's Chazar Sashatz, the answer is no, the Baal Tefillah cannot. Why not? Because Chazar Sashatz, a Baal Tefillah is in the middle of Chazar Sashatz. And he's in the tent over here, and there's a thing, and the next door over, while the Olam saying Moedim, could he say answer Amen from next door? So the answer is you cannot. Masha'enkin, if it's a haracha, like Rashi says, that it's not a Chazar Sashatz, you could. Why could you? It's a bracha. Just like the halachas and birchas yoitzer or birchas kriya shema, you could answer amen. So then the chazan could answer amen. Klor naf gemina ladina. Lamaisa the Ben Ish Chai comes out la halacha that you can't. In Rav Palim l'shitasoi that he says in the Ben Ish Chai that it's a chazar sashatz. So if it's a chazar, he has a whole arichas in the shaila. He says you cannot because it's a chazar sashatz. So just to conclude, we spoke over here, the Magen Avos is Mepnei Sakana. It's a kitzur of all the 7 brachas. And we saw Shaila, is it a Chazar Sashatz or is it a Haracha? And with this I want to conclude, mamash, one more second. We went through in the beginning of the Shiur in Magen Avos a breakdown of each of the words refers to a different bracha. Right, we said Lefonav Navoid B'Yirav Afachad. That's Avoida. Then afterwards, very interesting, there's actually a double for Haidah. V'Noida L'Shmoi B'Chol Yom Tamad Me'in HaBrachos. That's Haidah. Kela Haidahis. L'Chayr, what do you need both? What do you need both? So I saw over here brought the Machzeh Vitri from the Rishonim asks the Kasha. And the Taka says, you're right, it's Taka Arichas. But I saw brought a teretz that Ulai, it's B'Mokem Moedim D'Rabbanan. B'Mokem Moedim D'Rabbanan. The Rabbi say, if you learn that this is a Chazar Sashatz, and it's very Geschmack Taka, why it comes in Moedim D'Rabbanan. If it's a Arachas, maybe yesh levar, but if a Chazar Sashatz, so taka this extra shtickle, the noidel shmoy b'chol yom tamim ein abrachas is the moedim derabbanan, and keloi dois is aidah. Have a wonderful Shabbos.
Why does the Tanakh say both moedim and moedim derabbanan?